Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Women Like Me Stories in Business. I'm your host, Julie Fairhurst, and today I'm joined by Lisa Lacey, an author from Athens, Georgia, whose work explores trauma, recovery, resilience, identity, and the hidden cost of high functioning survival. So I want to get into that for sure. High functioning survival. Lisa helps others understand that many behaviors we judge, such as dysfunction, are actually intellectual adaptations to difficult circumstances. So, this conversation is going to be about survival roles, identity, addiction, honesty, and healing. So, thank you, Lacey, for being here. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here, and I'm so excited about the conversation. I love podcasts because we can really dig deep.
Exactly. Yeah. So, okay, let's start by you telling us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing today.
My name is Lisa Lacey. Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. You pretty much covered the work that I do. A big exciting thing happening in my life is I have a memoir upcoming to be released in October called Notes of a Certified Madwoman, and it has a field guide companion called The Psychology of Performing. So that's happening in October. I'm so super excited about that.
Wow.
A lot of the things we may get into today are going to be in one or the other of those books.
Well, before we go any further, I want to know, why did you call it Notes from a Mad Woman?
Notes from a certified,
Oh,
certified
certified
mad,
Mad Woman.
yes,
Okay.
certified mad
I
woman.
want to know why you named it that title. That's
Well,
a great title.
on paper, I am literally certifiably insane. On paper, I went through a full-blown mental health psychosis
Oh,
that had a lot of shame and guilt around it. And I have a congenital blood disease and have had many near-death scares with it. But in the past, Julie, when I've had them, I just went into workaholism and I'd get out of the hospital, I'd go back to work, like nothing happened, keep going, push through, push through, push through. But this time, at the beginning of the year, I turned 50 right after, like 2 weeks after being discharged from the hospital. And we had big, grandiose plans for my birthday, lots of people involved, and I canceled everything. Last minute, cancel everything. And I went on a solo sojourn to the mountains in a cabin in the woods with my little 21-year-old Italian miniature greyhound, who I've had since he was 3 months. And we got there on Monday, and I turned 50 on a Wednesday. And on that Wednesday, I was in tears, bawling, watching this beautiful sunset with a mountain view. But bawling because I was not doing in life all of the things that I felt like I needed to be doing if my time was in fact short. So, and it came to me that a lot of these stories in these books need to be told, and I don't want to take them with me.
mhm. Wow. No, no, so important to tell them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you talk about the hidden cost of high functioning survival. So,
Mhm.
what does high functioning survival look like in real life?
It looks like a lot of success sometimes. It
Mm.
looks very polished. It looks almost like perfection with the whole blended family picture and the six-figure income and the corporate suits and being put together. So it can be very tricky because that was me on the surface. And we all went through great efforts to put up that front, put on those masks. But I was very miserable behind the scenes. I was in a very toxic marriage. I was struggling with active addiction and alcoholism and untreated mental illness all at the same time. So, but I still was great at my job. And it's possible to have you've got this arena, but this arena needs a lot of help over here. So, but I think so many times that we think we have to be perfect at all of it.
Yeah.
There needs to be balance, and care and support underneath you. That has really revolutionized everything. That's Julie how I can tell that I've made huge strides in progress is every single one of my relationships are so healthy right now. They're supportive, they're inspiring, they're uplifting, right? They're
Yeah.
human connection.
Wow.
And before I couldn't name one that was not toxic. And I was toxic too. If you're surrounded by toxicity, chances are you're going to be projecting some of those toxic traits as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, when did you first realize that what looked like strength on the outside was costing you something on the inside?
Well, and what it costs you is a lot of freedom.
Mm.
Freedom in your body, freedom in your mind, freedom in your space, freedom in your energy. I hit inpatient rehabilitation, a dual diagnosis center that focuses on mental health as well as the addiction component at 40 years old. I actually turned 40 in rehab. And funny story that is in the book. Grab the book. I got kicked out of outpatient rehab for playing the bullshit game with too much fervor. Swear to goodness. That's a story I'm saving for the book. Okay. I
Oh,
did. They
wow.
said my anger was above their pay grade because I would not apologize to somebody. And what a silly game to play with a lot of people detoxing and very, very angry, recovering from addiction. Anyway, so I was 40 when I first learned all these terms: codependency, trauma bonding, chronic alcoholism, bipolar disorder, borderline personality disorder, complex post-traumatic stress disorder. I went in thinking I
Wow.
had a bad marriage and a slight drinking problem and came out with a chart this thick.
Wow.
And I was on the plane back from Arizona and I had had a clot before we left, but um looking through the chart, and one of the last pages said prognosis for recovery poor to none due to lack of familial support. So they counted me out for long-term sobriety and recovery because I did not have a support system underneath me. So
Wow.
initially, I was doing it alone. And that's another reason why I want to tell these stories, because I know if I was alone, there's other women out there that are feeling really alone right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow. Well, what are some survival roles people take on without even realizing it?
Oh, goodness. For us women, the good girl,
Ah.
everything has to be perfect. A little slightly different, the people pleaser,
Mm.
to avoid conflict at all costs, at all expenses. The rebel, the defiant one, the hyper independent one. A lot of us have that.
Mm.
The workaholic. Even the roles we play in our life, mom, daughter, sister, wife, can be tricky, sticky identities for us that we get stuck to. And then what happens is if they go away, we're stuck in a really tight spot because we don't know who we are.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I think, Julie, we're asking the wrong question. And I see it so much in the healing arena. Two questions. Who are you becoming? And how do you get back to who you were? Well, I don't know about you, but I don't want to go back to who I was. Like,
Right.
she's the one that
Yes.
got into all the trouble. And we don't know who we're becoming until we know who survival made us. And the
Mm.
question I ask people that I work with is, what did you perform? Who did you perform in order to survive? And we love that part of us. It helped us. But the bigger question is it still serving us?
Mm.
And
Yes.
so my current daily practice with myself and my clients is to drop all roles and all identities. And it's not easy to be as real in all situations as I can. And in doing that, I realize how much of a performance my life really has been.
Yeah. Wow.
Mhm.
That's um that's quite a light bulb moment for
Yeah.
yourself and for a lot of us. Wow. Why do you think so many people, especially women, blame themselves before they ever question what they survived?
Well, I myself, I mean, look at what I've survived, 10 events of pulmonary embolisms, addiction recovery, trauma, massive and boatloads of trauma. Um, so yeah, Julie, I just completely lost my train of thought. Ask me the question
Oh,
again.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I wanted to know why women blame themselves before they ever
Oh.
even ask the question about what they survived.
We are conditioned from childhood. So if our father left, came and went, had that, we blame ourselves. Is it my fault? Is it my fault? Then if we're repeating patterns in early adulthood that we had in childhood, we may marry a partner that blames us. Nobody's going to ever love you the way that I love you. It's all your fault. It's
Mm,
all your fault. So some of it's not even our own internal dialogue. See, that's the key is getting to your own internal dialogue and working with that. Because now my own internal dialogue, when I started reframing, it took one thought at a time.
yeah.
One of the thoughts that was on a loop in my head is, you're so stupid. You're such an F up. You'll never have healthy relationships. Right. And it was the strangest thing when I started observing. Observation is not neutral. That's quantum physics, quantum mechanics. It starts changing. But I would be saying I'm so stupid on a loop, and I'd stop the thought and I'd go, actually, what's the truth? Truth. What's the statement of fact? Is that I'm actually a highly intelligent woman. And so I replaced that thought with the truth, and it never crosses my mind anymore.
Ah,
I
mm,
like who I am. If you dig yourself, if you know yourself, if you know how you tick and click, how you operate, if you can articulate that to the people who love, care, and want to support you on most days when they
yeah.
can,
Yeah.
then life gets a whole lot better.
Yes. Yeah. What do people misunderstand about addiction and trauma?
Um, that, well, with trauma, I think we villainize it. I think
Mm,
we get competitive with it. It is part of the human experience, as far as I'm concerned, to varying degrees for obvious reasons when we hear people's individual stories. But it's just part of the human experience, and it leaves imprints on us and it shapes us. With addiction, I still think a lot of people think addiction is a moral choice. Moral choice. And it's not. And each individual is going to be different. But for me, it was me running from all those emotions and trying to drown them in a bottle, only to realize the moment I started to look at them, all the things that I was scared of was actually quite silly. Emotions can be fun to work with. Even anger can be juicy and be creative fuel if you really dig in there and use it the right way. So yeah, I was running from something for 20 years that once I turned and faced it, it was like, whoa, this is kind of cool, because now I have a new default. I have a new operating system, right? I'm not reactive anymore. I don't wake up going, oh, I don't know if I want to do this. And you know what I'm saying when I say do
yeah.
this. Now I wake up and I'm not doing cartwheels because I'm not a morning person until I have to have some caffeine, but I'm ready to tackle my day. Totally different default system. And
Mm,
so that's what we want to start developing.
wow. Well, you built a career in healthcare and led teams while struggling privately. So, how did that professional world shape your understanding of resilience?
It let me know how tough I am, but I pushed myself a little too hard unnecessarily. But it certainly shaped how I feel about myself as someone who was always trying to do my best,
Mm,
right? And some days my best was going to be 80%. Some days my best was going to be 60%. But I was darn good at what I did in the corporate arena, and it was a tough gig. It was a tough gig. Educating, corporate physicians is not an easy road, especially if
no.
you're the one telling them what they need to change. They're very stubborn. They're very, very stubborn. So it gave me a little tenacity for sure. But yeah, I was happy to have had that career because after I turned 50, I made a very swift pivot into education and speaking and podcasting and writing these books. And I'm super excited about the trajectory of it. I think it's what I'm here to leave behind.
Ah, yes, yeah. What has recovery taught you about honesty?
That it's a requirement,
Mm,
especially with yourself. That's key. Honesty with yourself. So if somebody's out there listening right now and they're looking around their lives and they're going, wait, 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 do I actually like what I see? Is this what I want to be doing? Is this what I'm meant to be doing? Right?
yeah,
Getting brutally honest with yourself. That's the most important thing. You know, sometimes if somebody's wearing something and it looks ridiculous, but they love it, we don't, tell them.
right.
But being honest, honesty and sobriety. And I have an interesting story. My husband and I both met when we were 30 days clean, the both of us. And you're not supposed to do this, but we 13th stepped our way into a healthy marriage. I would not recommend it because we brought a lot of baggage in.
Right.
But sobriety itself has taught me that I am capable of healthy relationships, right? And again, even science and studies tell us that emotional intelligence that has to do with relationships is more important than IQ in success and happiness in life. Because if your relationships are solid, you feel like you can conquer the world. If they're not, it's all you can think about.
Yeah,
And it takes up a lot of your focus and your energy.
yeah.
My second marriage nearly ate me alive
Mm.
in terms of the hyper fixation on it. This one is so chill, but we are celebrating 8 years of sobriety together
Oh,
as thank
congratulations.
you. As each other's accountability partners. Now he happens to be 16 years younger than me and quite the little hottie. I didn't know it at the time though. He has a full beard and he grayed early.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
boy, when he told me how young he was, Julie, I almost ran. I did. I was like, what? Yeah, this will never work. But I listened to a still small voice that said, lean in. I remember hearing it so distinctly, lean in. So I did. And we touched hands for the first time, and it was electric. And it's been electric ever since. We have a good
Oh,
time together. We
oh,
still like each other, you know?
yes, yeah.
You want to be looking around your life and the people in it, and you want to like them, who
Of
they are as
course you
humans.
do.
Yes,
Yes, you
yes.
can. I mean, love is one thing, but you got to like people. I agree.
Yes,
I
yes.
agree.
If they're
Wow.
draining you, let them go.
Yes,
Let them
yes,
go.
yes, for
And
sure.
that's another phenomenon that happens is as you raise your vibration, and I certainly believe that we are all energy, it is undeniable.
Yes.
The people that drain you will kind of fall off, take themselves out. Sometimes you have to take them out, but new people will come in. So,
Yes. Yeah.
but sometimes it is just you and you. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's just me and me. And this body, this mind has to be a comfortable place to be. That's
Yeah.
changed too.
Yes. I love that. A comfortable place to be. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to know what about, because you did some writing, you've written some
Hmm.
books. So I want to
Yeah.
know what is the hardest part about writing your story?
This one was the hardest to write so far,
Hmm.
simply because it was the most vulnerable. It has some of the stories that were shrouded in guilt and shame. Now they're not because they're out, right?
Yes.
Now there
Yes.
is going to be another big leap I'm going to have to take once we go into launch and it's really out. Because right
Yes.
now we're just on our second round of editing. So just a handful of people, early readers have seen it. That's where the companion came in because they saw themselves in it, pieces of themselves in it, and they said, "Oh my
Uh,
gosh, I need a place to land." So
yeah.
that's what the exercises in the field guide are for, to catch
Yeah.
people when they need it. But yeah, I'm excited and I'm nervous. And yeah, the hardest part is being real because in
Mm,
writing, readers know when you're holding back. They can
mhm.
feel it.
Yes.
It
Yeah,
it
for
it
sure.
it shows in your writing. So I had to kind of spill it. And And it still is a little terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yes, yes, for sure. Well, what do you hope your readers are going to feel when they read your memoir?
What when they close the book, when they get done and they close it, and it's a nice, easy read, a couple of evenings and you can get through it. I want them in a state of reflection about
Hmm.
their own lives in whatever's working and what's not working, and what's filling us and what's draining us. And that's my simple intention. I would just like people to be in a state of reflection because they saw pieces of themselves in some of these stories.
Yeah, yeah. That's that's my number one rule in Women Like Me, because we do collaborative writing, is that at the end of every story, everyone needs to have uh lessons. And I don't mean, here's your three steps to do, but life lessons. You got to be
Exactly.
able to get those life lessons out of what happened. And a lot of times people, they don't realize how important their stories are, but there's someone out there that needs to hear your story, my story. We all should be sharing our stories. I think it's so important, and I think that it helps to heal us, and it can really be so beneficial for our readers.
And human connection with all the
Oh,
social media and the 3 second clips and the 3 second attention span. Some
yeah.
of us have lost the ability to really connect in conversation. And so that's why these are so important.
Yes. Yeah. Um, Many women are praised for being strong,
Mm.
capable, dependable. So when does praise become dangerous?
Mm. When it becomes gaslighting, right?
Mm,
When it becomes gaslighting. Uh, I cannot speak for other people, but I can speak from lived experiential wisdom that eventually there's a crash in sight
mm,
if you are not taking care of you behind the scenes, and you're getting the praise, you're getting the awards, you're speaking at the keynotes for the American Association in your industry. I did all of it while running a family of five and being the sole financial provider. We can only do so much.
yeah,
Eventually there will be a crash if you are struggling behind the scenes and you haven't been honest with yourself about it first, and then honest with at least somebody that's safe around you so
yeah.
that you can figure out what next steps are. And my crash was a full-blown mental health psychosis, and my body had been telling me to slow down, remember those clots, and I would just go back to work on the Monday
Mm,
and just stay in denial about my mortality, about the disease, about the near death events. Um, I had a moment sitting on our new Chase we got. My husband, it came in two boxes. He was so upset. Um, but I just had this moment where it was silent in the house and I was alone and in my office, and I have a lot of crystals in here and the energy is great. And just really reflecting on, oh my gosh, I have survived so much. There is absolutely a reason for still drawing breath. So, what do I want to be doing with it, really?
yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm having a blast. I mean, I am booked out on podcasts until August, sister. Like,
yeah.
it is so much fun. We've got
It
the book
is.
coming out. So I'm really living the best life right now. But I will say this, even with all that healing, I still have bad days.
Yes.
I still have really down days.
Yeah.
And some days it's if I hit the bed and I've breathed that day and I've stayed sober that day, that's my win. I just
Hmm.
made it through, always one more day. So it's not all rainbows, butterflies, and unicorns, but when life happens, I am much better at dealing with it. And that is the side effect or main benefit of doing this level of personal excavation that is not always comfortable to look at.
Hmm. Oh, well, I want everyone to know that we are going to have information on how you can reach out to Lisa in the show notes. I don't know. Do you have books out already on Amazon? Do you have some
I
books?
do. I do.
Okay.
There's a couple of workbooks. There's a 365-day recovery workbook on there. You just
Oh,
look under Lisa Lacey. It's got a beautiful black and white cover. And then my last workbook was called Reclaiming Your Savage Sovereignty. It was actually a #1 bestseller, #1 new release in sacred geometry.
wow.
If you love meditative coloring, it's going to be a great book for you, but it's part memoir. It's got part neuroplasticity exercises, as well as some opportunities to get some meditative coloring in. So, yeah,
Love
super
it.
exciting. But the memoir is, this is a full memoir. The workbook has little glimpses of what you're going to read in the full memoir. So I'm
Yeah.
so excited about that. You can find those on Amazon. You can find those on my website. Everything I do is on my website,
Perfect.
lisalacey.com.
Okay, perfect.
Lisalacey.com.
Yeah,
Easy.
so we'll
Yeah.
have that in there so you'll be able to follow up because your memoir doesn't come out until October.
Correct. Yes.
Right. So we want to
Yes.
make sure we can find that. Okay, excellent. Well, can I ask you one last question?
Of
What would
course.
you say to a woman who is exhausted from being the strong one?
Mm, rest,
Mm,
but rest without guilt.
mm,
Because if you're carrying guilt into that rest, it's not rest. And what I mean by that is for us, high functioning, high performers, hyper vigilant, hyper independent people, rest makes us feel guilty. Like I should be doing something
yeah.
instead of taking that 2 hour nap in the middle of the day that my body needs because it's still healing from clots, right? So
Yes.
if you're tired, rest. Rest when needed, but always one more day. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much
Oh,
for
this has been
sharing all
awesome.
of your wisdom with us and for being willing to be open and share your some of your story with us as well. It's not easy at times, but I know there's people that need to hear it. So I appreciate you very much for doing that.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Okay, everyone. Well, that's it for this episode of Women Like Me Stories in Business, and we will see you all next time. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.